Who, what, where, when? These are 4 basic questions we need to answer first. Just who announced this supposed Jak and Daxter film adaptation? Well, we got the likes of the Uncharted movie's director Ruben Fleischer. That's who. Technically, the terms film adaptation weren't brought up the first time, and we'll get to that shortly. Now to answer the next questions, where and when was this announced? Fleischer mentioned this project on DigitalTrends on February 9th. He mentioned, I'm actually working on Jak and Daxter, a version of that, for PlayStation, which I think would be really cool to bring to life. Coincidentally or not, Uncharted film's Tom Holland was interviewed by GameSpot on February 4th. GameSpot asks Holland a question, rather gives him a scenario. If he's, say, handed a blank check to adapt any video game of his choice into a movie, which one would he choose and who would he pick to play as in said video game movie adaptation? His response, I would like to make a Jak and Daxter movie and I would play Jak. But I would make it A24 so it's really weird and like dark. GameSpot later asks him if he'd prefer animated or live action. Yeah, I would do like a really weird live action version of Jak and Daxter. He's lost me on both counts here. If I were to imagine a Jak and Daxter movie, I'd personally picture it animated. A live action one, I just can't seem to picture it. Especially with the likes of Jak and Daxter, the precursor legacy. I get how Jak 2 and onward took a much darker approach, a bustling city, wielding weaponry, I get all that. Unless they find a way to not make a live action movie uncanny, animated is what I'd like to see. Especially if we consider the stretchiness expression of our characters and the whole magical sci-fi element of this series. As for Tom Holland mentioning A24, I was not expecting that. A24 is an indie production company known for its horror genre of films. Now look, I understand that, like I said, Jak 2 and onward took a darker turn, but for that to warrant a Jak and Daxter film really weird and like dark as he stated, that's where I get confused. All in all, Tom Holland mentioning Jak and Daxter sure felt like an awesome shout out for the series. Now here's where things get a bit more surprising. Ruben Fleischer shares a bit more details on the supposed Jak and Daxter project. This information was shared to us on February 10th, and this is where he pretty much mentioned film adaptation for the first time. Before all this, we were wondering if he was thinking of a TV series or not. Well, there's our answer. He's thinking of a film adaptation. While speaking to Gamesradar, Fleischer mentioned how he was, by coincidence, sent an article about Tom Holland wanting a Jak and Daxter film. He added, when I saw him earlier this week on this tour, I said, you know Tom, someone told me that you want to make that movie. I'm actually trying to make it. So there's the possibility that we could partner again on that one, which I'm really excited about. So we ask ourselves, was this really just a mere coincidence? Tom Holland brings up Jak and Daxter, then the director of the Uncharted film gets in talks with Tom Holland. What do you think? During the same talk with Gamesradar, Fleischer explains how he always loved Jak and Daxter, and just like Uncharted, he explains that the center of the Jak and Daxter series is the buddy relationship. He added, they are a team, and they help each other out, and they make sacrifices for one another, and that is, I think, the key to a great comedy. What inspired him to work on Jak and Daxter adaptation are movies like Midnight Run and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It was also stated that the team hired writers who are in the process of writing the script, partnered with Naughty Dog and PlayStation in the development. Speaking of which, we are yet to hear official word from PlayStation and Naughty Dog. Easy prediction, this movie will fall under PlayStation Productions label, just like the Uncharted film. On February 18th, Cnet spoke with Fleischer. In response to their questions surrounding the differences in visual style with Uncharted and Jak, Fleischer explained, I've always wanted to do more of a space opera type film. Jak and Daxter takes place in a different world, and it has certainly very different characters than our human form. He then later explains that just like Uncharted, the tone of Jak and Daxter makes it special. While this incredible landscape isn't cinematic per se, you can really create a cool visual world with that. Does cool visual world allude to live action or animated? We still don't have a clue, especially considering the fact there's potential partnership with Tom Holland. Hey, if this is live action, well, can we at least have Daxter's original voice actor? If anything out of a live-action Jak and Daxter film, I want to see Daxter's original voice. Oh, and the thing about space opera? What does he mean by that? I get the whole dark makers from space in Jak 3. Space opera, I mean, emphasizes on space warfare, a theme surrounding space. Space opera, if anything, would describe Ratchet and Clank. The soul of that series is space. Lastly, Fleischer is known for projects such as Zombieland, Gangster Squad, Venom, and now Uncharted. Uncharted, by the way, according to chairman of Sony Pictures Motion Group and CEO Tom Rothman, with over 100 million in box office worldwide in just one weekend and a 90% positive audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, Uncharted is a new hit movie franchise for the company. Does this statement alone warrant or strengthen the chances for a Jak and Daxter movie? Remember, nothing was confirmed by PlayStation nor Naughty Dog. This could simply be brainstorming and simply writing stuff down. He did mention that they hired a team of writers. This doesn't mean they already pitched this idea to PlayStation. Digging deeper into the archives, there was once the idea of a Jak and Daxter film. This was by none other than the teams behind the Ratchet and Clank movie in 2016. I made a video if you're ever curious. The Ratchet and Clank movie, with it came the reimagining in 2016, so if we ever get a Jak and Daxter film, could you imagine a game which would come with it in some shape or form? Another thing I want to mention, back then, we also had the Sly movie in the works, which never came to fruition. Oh, and not to mention the TV show. Both of these always remained a mystery. Then again, this was before PlayStation Productions was a thing. These IPs were originally being outsourced to third-party companies. So with that being said, I will leave it at that. So in the comment section below, feel free to share your own thoughts. Would you imagine an animated film or a live-action Jak and Daxter film? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And, as always, I've been Vivi, and thank you so much for watching.